you both doing?
Great.
Wonderful. I just want to say before we start that I think Steve is just a really nice person to do these Collider interviews. I really appreciate that.
He's only saying that because of a conversation that was over there like 30 seconds ago.
No, he is a nice person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So
deep down.
Right. So something that people might not realize about Tim is that Tim he's hard to please. Would you agree? When it comes to movies and TV.
Oh. No, I like a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Just don't like everything.
So here's my question for both of you to start this thing off. What's the last movie or TV show you've seen that you'd like to recommend?
Oh, wow. I don't see much. I'm like always working, so I don't get to see anything. I don't have any fun.
You know what I'd say? You've asked me this question before, and I always say Dune. Well, not the second one, but the first one.
My second question is, Tim, what's better, Dune or Dune 2?
I like Dune 1 because in Dune 2, who was the hero? There was no heroes. I didn't know who to root for. I like heroes.
So, Tim, one more question. Can you name another movie over the last 5 years that you've enjoyed?
The Gray is probably outside your 5-year.
The Gray by Joe Carnahan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably like 10, 15 years ago.
Okay, well, I'm old, Steve. So thank you for...
I'm just pointing out hard to please.
Yeah. If I could think of... By the time we're done with this interview, I'll have a few more.
There's a movie you didn't like that I liked, which was The Substance.
Oh, my God. No. Who here liked The Substance? Raise your hand. Okay, get out. Get out now. No.
I'm just trying to point out, Tim, hard to please. Anyway, the last few years, I feel like animation has gotten more and more popular. I know I'm watching more of it, and I feel like so many people I know are also watching more of it. For the two of you, have you felt that from your position? Do you feel like more people are watching?
I think it's quality of people watching, because I think before animation was considered more of a kid's medium. Now everybody's watching it. It's more like an international thing. People are raised on anime or international films, and now you can make things as demented and disturbing and incredibly complex in animation as you can do in live action.
And I think we have a whole generation of people who have grown up on video games, which are essentially adult animation. On a lot of levels, and it's not a big transition to go to adult animation. So I feel like that has really opened the door for us. But it's really the West, you got to admit. Europe and Asia had a pretty big tradition of adult animation. And now Netflix has stolen all the Asian animators and made them work on Netflix shows. So it's probably destroying the Asian animation genre. Sorry, Netflix.
I will say that Netflix, they've reported it. I think Ted Sarantos talked about it, about how popular it is on the platform, animation. And it's fantastic because Netflix has what we call deep pockets and can make more animation stuff. But a thing for you, a lot of people don't realize for a few years, you were the highest grossing female director of all time.
Oh. I didn't get any of it, though. Somebody else did.
But she did make me kneel every time I walked into the room while we were working on.
Kiss the ring.
Yeah.
And for people that don't realize, Kung Fu Panda 2 and 3.
Yes.
It's an amazing accomplishment, and I just wanted to give you flowers.
Oh, thank you. I think it's really great that it was actually surpassed quite quickly, because so many more women filmmakers are making more and more box office and big films. So I'm glad to have lost a title.
If somebody told you you could again be the highest grossing female director, would you do Kung Fu Panda 6?
It depends on if I'd get to keep the money.
For the two of you, what do you wish more people knew about making animation in Hollywood?
It takes a bloody long time. So often people say, why didn't it show up earlier? Well, it took a long time.
Do you want to sort of like expand on that a little bit?
Well, it takes a long time to develop the scripts and to do the art. And each shot has to be hand drawn or hand animated or hand computer graphic by somebody. It's basically a gigantic series of effect shots. And you know how effects are probably the most expensive part of a film, other than maybe the $30 million you give to the A-list actor. But they're so complicated, and the entire thing is effects. So it takes a long time. It takes two years to make a season, easily.
I think everybody here probably knows this, but I'll say it again. I don't think that it's a shame that we don't do more animation here in Hollywood. As the owner of a company that is only Los Angeles based, it's hard for us. Even on Love, Death and Robots, I wish Blur could do, my company Blur could do every episode, but we really have to carefully choose the ones that we do because we can't afford to do. We're more expensive than. And it's not because I'm making any fucking money. It's because they give tax incentives or a lower cost of living if we do it somewhere else. And I really wish we could do more of it. I love our international partners. It's amazing, but I wish we could do more of it here.
When did you first realize, like, you never really know?
Not like a MAGA way. I just mean, I just more of a, yeah. Because I like to talk to the animators. That's why.
When did you first realize, like, you never really know what a show is going to do when it comes out. So when did you first realize, oh, wait, people really like Love, Death, and Robots?
I'm still waiting. To feel that love.
Well, you show up wearing a shirt like that.
Thank you. Sorry, that was blatant pandering.
You show up at a gas station wearing a shirt like that and people approach you, that means you're working on a show people like.
It's true. So some people here are going to know this, but some people won't. If you tried to make a heavy metal movie, and if that heavy metal movie had happened, there would be no Love, Death, and Robots.
No, but there would be a heavy metal movie, which would have been pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, but that would have only been like 90 to 120 minutes. This has been way, way more than that. And I will trade that heavy metal movie for 4 volumes of Love, Death, and Robots.
It didn't even occur to us to try and do a series, just because, despite my little bitch about costs and everything else, Netflix let us do the kind of animation that we wanted to do, which is not at a cost that Saturday morning animation is done, and so I'm so grateful that we got the money to do a really premium animation series. And I just didn't think I didn't think anybody would do that. So I'm still kind of amazed that they let us do that. We've never gotten a note from Netflix ever on any of our episodes.
Jennifer's about to say something.
Amazing.
I think we got like 1.
No, those are from me. You
Oh, okay.
But I gave a lot. But what did we get?
I think we got one where we had a political figure and it says, "Oh, that won't age well."
Oh yeah, there was a Trump joke. Yeah, I still wish that was in there. But you know what? I think it was more of a suggestion than a note. Yeah.
It's true. It was constant support, so it was actually a lot of freedom, which shows on what it was.
Yeah, it would have aged really well. I'll just say that.
The show has won a cumulative 13 Emmys. Yeah, I agree. Which one means the most to you guys?
Probably the first one, right?
Ice, Robert Valley's, when he won for that one. I think that one. I really love that short. I really love Robert Valley's work in general. 400 Boys is one of my favorites, and Zima Blue, top of the list. So Ice was an important one.
For the people in the audience that are not familiar with those titles, previous volumes.
Yes.
You totally put
400 Boys. Was that in this?
Oh, actually, wait.
Yeah.
400 Boys, the first one they played.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I should know that. I'm sorry.
I should also know that. So I'm going to read this one. Volume 4 is nominated for both Outstanding Animated Program and Outstanding Sound Editing for an Animated Program at the Emmys. While I think being nominated is everything, because how do you compare art to art? I do think winning matters because I want Netflix to keep making the series. So what does it mean to you to be nominated yet again, especially for the big one?
I think that it's It's true. We work in a vacuum. We work making these things because we love it and we want to see it, but we don't really know if other people love it. And something like this shows that not only do people love it, but they think that it is something beautiful. And that's kind of amazing. And it's so encouraging. It makes all the hard work actually feel like it's seen and it's worth it. So awards by themselves don't mean anything. It's about the fact that people are showing you their appreciation about what you're doing.
I agree.
I'm very proud. I just wish that they had held back Arcane season 2. Maybe just one more year. That would have shown a lot of appreciation from Netflix in my book. I requested it. They wouldn't do it.
So something that people might not realize is how important this series is to the animation community. What's so cool about it is how companies that are normally competitive are all working together to bring this, series to life. Can you sort of talk about its impact in the community?
It's amazing how a lot of these companies are VFX companies, or they do cinematics for video games or commercials, and to be able to work on something that's narrative and have this level of storytelling is something that they've always wanted to do, but they couldn't do at scale. So something like Anthology, you have studios everywhere that range from like 5 people to 600-700 people, all working on different episodes, and they're able to showcase everything they're doing. And not only that, we're showing them what the other episodes are while they're doing it, which is freaks them all out. But
It's a total dick move.
It is.
That we do.
It's psychological warfare. But makes everybody realize, oh my God, they're doing this, and how are they doing that? And how did they make that face and that skin look like that? And then they one-up each other and they innovate off each other. And so individually, they all get better. And these are all people, as Tim often says, they're competitors. They're people that they're bidding against each other for these jobs, and everybody's working together and encouraging each other and rooting for each other to do an amazing new thing.
For people that don't realize, you're the series supervising director. What exactly does that mean for people that don't know what that means? What does your week look like?
My week looks like chaos. There's 10 episodes, 10 studios, 10, maybe 8 studios if studios do more than one episode, 10 directors, all of them with different varying backgrounds, skill levels, focuses, and all of them have to deliver on the show with a high quality. That means each one requires a different kind of support. Some are just literally, a little bit of therapy and it's okay. And some literally needs me to go in and do a storyboard for a huge chunk of the episode. So every day it's support. It's bespoke for everyone.
But she's also directing, because she directed Spider Rose, which most people think, including me, might have been the best episode in this batch. So that in itself is a huge job.
How does it work behind the scenes, deciding what stories will be told in a volume?
It's a very organic process. We have on the wall these little index cards with a picture, sort of the tone of the story, and they each indicate one amazing short story that Tim might have had rattling around in the back of his brain for decades. And so we put them up there, and we see kind of what that tableau of contrasting stories and tones could be. And sometimes there may be a favorite, and we won't be able to use it because there's too much of the same thing. Or sometimes it's a story that nobody really considered as being a strong one, and then it suddenly rises as being like a favorite. In the case of Spider Rose, that's been rattling around since the very beginning.
I was going to say leg wrestling, but she got to her explanation first.
Look at my arm. Does this look like this would work?
That's why we do the leg thing, where we do the opposite. She is right in that it is kind of a complicated puzzle, because it's we want it to be a mix of styles and genres and tones, and we want comedy, and we want horror, and we want sci-fi, and we want fantasy. We try and really cover the spread, which is really amazing when we, at the end, we go, well, why are there so many cats? Like, why didn't we think of like not having so many cats? But we didn't
Can't
cover
go
that.
wrong with too many cats.
I think you can, but
He doesn't like cats.
I don't like cats. Yeah.
Again,
sorry.
did I mention something
I
about
like
Tim
dogs.
earlier?
I like dogs a lot. Cats don't like us either, so don't give me that. They don't like you. I don't like them.
It's just you.
No. They'll eat you. If you died tomorrow on your apartment, the cats will eat you.
You could say that about some people
With a dog.
too, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
We're learning a lot about Tim tonight.
But often we'll start the process of picking stories, and I'll walk up to the board with like full confidence in the authorities. This motherfucking story is getting done. This is the one. Stamp it up there with the big thumbtack, and then it just falls off the board at some point. And because we can't afford to do that big one, or we can't, there's another one that's like it that another director might be right for more, and it's you never know. The mix is always different.
Did you have any that were like in volume 1, 2, or 3 that you really wanted to do that ended up in volume 4? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work? Like, is there one or some that have been just sitting there for a while, like Spider Rose? And what was it that finally got it made?
I think Spider Rose was one of the first, but it took Swarm to get it made, because Swarm was a story that Tim had always said he wanted to do. And so he made Swarm first.
Lots of cool creatures. But there's one called Half Breeds, which is orcs versus elves, and it follows the beats of the battle of the Zulus against the British in Isandwala and Rorke's Drift. I'm not shitting you. It's awesome. And so that was in my heavy metal pitch book, and I'm still desperate to do it. But every time it's like, oh my God, it's armies of orcs and elves. It's going to be so expensive. And then it gets taken off the board. I think Jennifer goes in there at night when I'm not there and takes it off the board.
I am curious, Jennifer, how did you decide that you wanted to do Spider Rose? And also because of how busy you are.
Well, I get dibs on what story I want to do. That's a perk of being a supervising director. It's the same with Pop Squad. It was the first story that I read that I really wanted to do, so I got to do that. This Spider Rose is such a challenging story. It was always on the wall, and it was a special one. And it was so difficult that I actually looked at that and I thought, in order to do it well and sort of respect what it was trying to do, I almost feel like I want to do that myself. I could see it myself. And so I just took it. That's kind of how it works.
Yes.
How you did which one? I can't remember the title.
Scream of the Tyrannosaur
Thank
and
you.
Golgotha.
Yeah. So how did you decide which ones you wanted to direct? Is it the same thing, like just cherry pick?
No, it was slightly different. Scream of the Tyrannosaur, I actually wrote for Zack Snyder, said he wanted to do one. And I said, dude, I've got the most heavy metal story ever. And it was Scream of the Tyrannosaur. I just went ahead and adapted the script. And then he said I couldn't do it. And then I said, oh, well, I guess we'll have to shelve it. And then Jennifer and Victoria, our producer, said, no, come on. You want to do it, don't you? And I'm like, no, it's for Zach. It's not my tone. But I did secretly want to do it. It's especially after I got finished writing it. And it's dinosaurs and gladiatorial contests. It's super cool. And then Golgotha, Jennifer and I were going to co-direct. And then I think she never said this out loud, but I think she's like, I don't want to go make decisions with Tim and have to leg wrestle.
Again,
every
you've
day.
seen the dynamic.
And I can't say I blame her. So at some point, I just did it.
How does it work? Because obviously you have a budget for each volume, and I'm just curious.
No, Steve, it's unlimited. We get as much money as we want.
But I am curious, like, how does it work out that you can make for the money? This is a hypothetical number, but you can do like 180 minutes of animation or 150 minutes of animation, or is it determined by what you're including in these volumes? Like certain bits of animation cost more, or certain things cost more. Like, can you sort of take us behind the scenes in terms of figuring out where and when to deploy those resources?
Well, the super realistic CG is obviously the most expensive. It's the most complex, the most huge sort of, most advanced sort of computer animation that can be done right now as far as how to make people look not uncanny. So those tend to be reserved for sort of the big stories that really, really, usually the special ones that we're talking about. But really the strength of the show is the variety. If we had all shows that look identical to that, not only would it be ungodly expensive, but I think it would be ultimately a little less exciting. Because people love to see this, the spread of all the different styles of animation and all the different ways that you can approach it. You can have stop motion, like basically that the Christmas episode that we had the other season. The puppet for the monster Santa was the size of a turkey. And to be able to have a turkey-sized monster that you could touch with your finger.
Why didn't we get that in the end when it was done?
I think
Where is
the
that?
director stole it.
We should get that.
The director
We paid
stole
for
it.
it. We should get it.
It's in England.
I think
so.
we should have got the turkey. I thought it looked like a giant testicle, but
It looked like a tumor. But yeah, you could have that and have the joy of having a giant turkey-sized
much
piece
like
of
a
clay.
testicle.
Or you could have a 2D episode. It's like they are cheaper to do 2D. It just is. It may take fewer people to do it.
But between Love, Death, and Robots and Secret Level, our show on Amazon, which we're competing against for Emmys, we've done 50 short films now. So, and then Blur does the short films in the form of cinematics. So, the animation is not making widgets, but there are certain patterns. So you get a sense of like cost per minute. There's complexity and caveats, but you get a sense of cost per minute for 2D, cost per minute for stop motion, cost per minute for high-end CG. So you can kind of ballpark that and sort of put that puzzle together about what will fit in terms of style. We got to a point on this season where I don't think it was in this batch, but maybe I'm wrong. What your smart appliances are saying about you. We needed another episode. I wanted another episode in there, but we didn't have any money. And so I told Victoria, the producer, I said, look, I'm just going to go in my house and I'm going to film my refrigerator and then I'm going to film my toilet. And just a slow push in on each of those things with the voiceover, because the voiceover will sell it. And luckily, Jennifer and Victoria saved me from myself, and made it more of a stop motion claymation piece, which is much better.
But it was also done by a very, very talented group of generalists, or like 5 or 6 guys out of their houses, basically making that. It was a very, very small company.
I love high-end animation. I mean, my whole career is that, but I am still the little boy who drew the stick figure animation on my math book and, flipped the pages. Sure. So, which I love the fuck out of. So, that I like everything. I like Don Hertzfeld's little, stick figure. Stick figure theater is like one of my favorite animation things on the web.
Listen, I love the fact that I love animation, and I love that more and more people are watching it. It's fucking awesome. How do you figure out which company is going to direct which piece of material?
Bribes.
Bribes. It could be tax incentives sometimes, but mainly it's about what that company is, especially their big forte is. What do they do? In the case of Unit, they do amazing skin. They do the best sort of faces and the facial acting of anyone. And that's why they did Aquila Rift, because they had such beautiful fidelity of facial acting. In the case of How Zeke Found Religion, that we just saw, that was done by Titmouse, and they do incredible 2D animation, hand-drawn animation. Diego Peral did it, and he had actually done some animation on Kill Team Kill the previous season.
Which Jennifer directed.
Which is kind of crazy that I directed that one.
No, it's not, because she's fucking dark. She looks really cute and nice, and she speaks softly, but she is dark.
Everybody's got to have balance.
Very, very dark.
But Titmouse does an amazing 2D animation. So sometimes if we really want to work with a studio, we try to find a story that would be great in what they do.
How has technology the last few years impacted the animation industry? Because I would imagine each year there's advances. And how has it affected everything?
I think with like anything, it changes the speed at how things can be done and the expectations of what everybody does. Like things that looked beautiful and we thought, oh, that's cutting edge 10 years ago, or even 2 years ago, would be like, no. But now you can do more and more and more. You can make people look amazing. And I think also audiences demand it, so you have to go there. So it's always an arms race of trying to find how to make the art look beautiful.
But now all bets are off. So I think we're going to see a couple of years of real change in churn, because the tools coming out of the AI world are pretty disruptive.
That's literally my next question, which was like, let's talk a little bit about AI. And
like so exciting.
Let's just touch on it. But like, how are you both concerned about it? Are there certain things of AI that you're excited to incorporate into the animation process? Like, or is it, you know what I mean? Like, how frightened are people behind the scenes about AI?
I'm a super nerd and I love science fiction. So I am both amazingly excited and terrified. Because I also read science fiction, and it's not, and I made a Terminator movie, and I know what's going to happen. But it is undoubtedly going to be one of the greatest tools ever invented, not just for animation, but for the rest of the world. Might it also destroy animation in the rest of the world? Maybe so. And so I don't really know where it is. Or where it's going, because I think it's just the beginning. I just went to Annecy, which is a big festival in France. It's like the biggest animation thing. The love for the show there was amazing. And then I went to another one in Spain called Mundos Digitalis, which was really great. So many young animators want to talk about the industry, and they love the show. And they're so excited about their careers, but they all want to know, what do I do? You know, what should I do with AI coming on? How do I approach this from a career standpoint? And I had nothing to say to them because I don't know. And so the only piece of advice I can give them is, don't ignore it. Don't cover your eyes and think that it's going away, because it's not. I personally think that the next 12 months is about as far ahead as I want to look. And it's not about replacing what we do with AI. It's about using the tools to make what we do faster, easier, better. I think it'll be a similar pipeline for the next year or so, with us just using those tools to simplify and streamline things. But after that, I don't know, because it's changing, feels like every week, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that it's true. The thing that's really driving the fear of a lot of people is, how are they going to find work going forward? And I don't think anyone really knows. I think what I hope to happen is that, like, artists could use it as a tool for themselves, but I hope that companies won't use it to replace artists, if that makes sense.
My standard line for all art, and because you asked about how people think about it inside the industry, and I believe this to be true, but I don't want to use AI tools to tell the same story with less people. I want to tell bigger stories, and it is the reason why I'm excited. There, for instance, there's a book I'm adapting by China Mayville called Perdido Street Station. It's an amazing book. But it would be so expensive to do. It's a city full of strange creatures and robots and monsters and everything. And it would just be prohibitively expensive. And it's not a broad 4-quadrant movie. I'm sure everybody would know that that's not what it's going to be for me. But I could never tell that story now. But with AI maybe augmenting the budget, I can tell a different kind of story, because I can afford to tell a non-4-quadrant story, because the tools it gets cheaper, faster, better. I'm excited about that.
One of the things about Love, Death, and Robots is that some episodes are 5 minutes, some are 10, some are 12, 15. And if you're named David Fincher, you get 20.
20.
So I'm just curious, how do you decide, you know what I mean? Like, have you had episodes that are 10 minutes that you would have loved to have been 20, and you have to pull it to 10 because that's what you can afford? How do you decide the runtime on some of these things?
It sometimes just comes down to, how much money do we have for the episode? I think ideally the stories we choose are ones that can be told in the time that we have. We don't want to cripple a story and jam it into a little box. But there are stories that are 50 pages, and we just couldn't do them because they just don't have the time. It's just, or, you know.
I do generally think, though, that, and this is over a career of doing it, is that often directors think, I can't cut anything else. I can't. It's the leanest it can possibly be. But when they are forced to cut more, it gets better. My Scream of the Tyrannosaur, that we had a thing that happened midway through where this company Axis in Scotland, which is they're one of our favorite partners, they went bankrupt right in the middle of my short. Scream of the Tyrannosaur, and they literally held the hard drives hostage. Not them, but the bank, I guess. And we had to fly a producer over there with $20,000 in a dark alley and exchange money for hard drives. But when we came back and brought it back to Blur, we had, the show came out in mid-May. Well, we didn't start finishing the show until January. And it was 14 and a half minutes, and there was no way we could do it. So I said, I'm gonna cut that fucker down. And I got it down to 11 and a half minutes, which is really hard for me to believe, because if you had asked me before that happened, I would have said, I'm not cutting a shot. Every shot that's in there has to be there. It's important that I tell this story. And then when it's gone, I'm like, don't miss it. Maybe it could have been 12 and a half, but I missed some of it. But it really does get better, and directors can't do it. You often, if I was working on a Terminator or Deadpool, the editor would like cut things out when I was out of the room, like doing VFX reviews or something. So I wouldn't, because if I was there, I would go, no, you can't cut that shot. But then when it's gone, you realize it's better.
For people that maybe don't know Tim's resume, by the way, he directed the first Deadpool. Just FYI. Nothing you've seen.
I would like you to, in the future, say the best Deadpool, just instead of the first one. And then let them figure out which one they get.
Noted. If you could get one of the episodes made into a TV show or feature film, which is the one that you would love to like flesh out and do more with?
I'll say, just selfishly, I wish we could do a whole recurring show of Kill Team Kill and just kill them every time and come back like more cybernetically enhanced, just worse and worse each time. Those guys will die and come back and die and come back. But probably the conventional thing is probably 3 robots, because everybody loves 3 robots.
We have a pitch for TV. So if you want to petition Netflix, we have a whole TV series of 3 robots laid out. But if it was a movie, Sonny's Edge.
Oh yeah, no, that's. I'm trying to say, Netflix has talked about. No, let's skip that one.
I tried to talk a lot because I knew Steve didn't do his homework, and he didn't have a lot of questions there. And so I said I'll talk a lot and bullshit more. And
by the way, thank you.
It's not.
Thank you for protecting me. I really do appreciate it.
I'm trying to cover for you.
But like,
you're a good person, Steve.
I fuck
down
off.
inside.
That is a joke. Again,
that's called a callback in the industry, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. So talk a little bit. One of the things I don't think people realize is that certain shots cost a lot more money than others. So I'm just curious, what is a shot that is like a lot more money that people would realize? And what's something that looks like it cost a shit ton? It's actually not that hard to do.
Oh my gosh. One of the benefits of being creative rather than a producer is I don't worry about the money. I just look at that and go, does it look bloody great or not? And then you have somebody else try to, negotiate you down.
I think there's a weird reversal that happens between live action and CG, because the cheapest thing you can do on a live action set is to put the camera right here on an actor's face, and you get all the subtlety of this performance. In CG, facial close-ups are the hardest shots to do. You have a big chunk of your gray matter is there just to decode the content of the human face, and when it's not right, you sense it. You may not be able to go, the corner of the mouth is not turning down as much, but your brain will pick it up. Oddly enough, women are twice as fast at registering those anomalies than men are, because we're just generally more dense, I guess. But you may not know what it is, but you sense that something's off and it bothers you. So you spend a lot of time going, something's not right there with that shot. So but with a camera, you just go there, and it's done. But things like, blood pouring out of a dinosaur, that's easy. Yeah.
I definitely have to touch on obviously you mentioned Blur already, but for the future, what is Blur currently working on that you want to tease?
Nothing. We're working on a lot of stuff. We continue to do service work.
I was going to say there's no way Blur is not doing a ton of stuff right now.
We're doing a lot of stuff, Steve, but we can't talk about it. I still hope we get to do our first movie. I got into this industry going, I'm going to own a studio so I can do a movie. And 30 years later, I'm going to own a studio so I can do a movie.
This is
animated.
Yeah. By the way, this was not what I was going to ask you. I just realized this question. You know David Ellison a little bit. Are you excited for him to? Don't get yourself in trouble. Are you excited for him to have the keys to Paramount, or do you think that you know what I mean?
God damn, Steve.
Again, answer carefully.
I have a lot of respect for David Ellison because I know he loves film. We would all wish that political morass was less sticky to get there, but I am glad that Paramount is going to remain an independent studio. That's what I'll say about it.
Yeah, I'll also say that David does love movies. I wish some of them were better, but he does love movies.
Wow, they're never gonna get you on a junket.
I don't
Paramount
care
anymore.
I'll be listen. I mean, people who read Collider, they know. Like when we love something, we go to bat for it. If you make something shitty, we're gonna call you out on it, and that's just the way it is. And Skydance, which is what David owns, has made some really good movies, and they've made some pieces of shit. And if you can't be honest about that, then you should not be talking about movies.
I'm not defending anybody, but you can't really point to any studio and say,
100%.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, and say you've made some really good movies and you've made some really bad movies.
Sure. I mean,
some people might say I've made a really good movie and a really bad movie, but I love my Terminator movie, even though it didn't do well.
See, that's wait. I'm going to defend you here, and we've sort of touched on it. I did not mean for this to happen. So the problem, I think, with you made a good Terminator movie. The issue, I think, is that Terminator has a finite amount of money at the box office it's going to make. Like, it's not a $1 billion franchise. It's like a $300 million movie or a $400 million movie. And the problem with your Terminator is it cost a lot of money. But it's not like it bombed and made like $20 million. I mean,
it's in the black now.
Yeah, but it made, and I could be wrong, but didn't it make like 300 million or so?
280.
That's my point.
And then it was like the number one movie on Netflix for months.
That's my point. Like, that's not a bomb. It's just your movie cost a lot, so it's harder to be profitable.
That wasn't my fault. I wanted to cut stuff, but they wouldn't let me.
Moving on.
I did.
So yeah,
but I will say that you can't. The problem with all of this in making movies, whether it's Skydance or Warner Brothers, you have a whole group of people who think they know movies, including me. I'm like, this is the greatest idea ever. Please do it. Your interview of Guillermo, I thought for Pacific Rim was really great, where Guillermo says, I've made 12 movies. I've been so fortunate. And everybody thinks, oh, I'm Guillermo. I can just call and say green light my movie. But I've developed 42 movies, and I loved each of them as much as the ones I actually made. And I feel that same way. I'm not talking out of school here when I said, Can't Stop, the music video. We got a lot of online hate for that. Maybe it was the way the leading off with it. Maybe it was people were pissed off we did a music video. I don't know why. I loved it. But some people didn't like it. But I can't control that. I can't. I just have to do what you can't go and chase like what you think is going to make people happy.
Yeah, just also touching on Guillermo, the day after he won,
the greatest guy.
He is the greatest. He is just the fucking best. But the day after he won an Oscar, he went in, or 2 days later, went in and pitched a project, and the studio said no. 2 days after winning the Oscar, it was like, that's Hollywood. So in case you're wondering, like, you'd think he could, as you said. But anyway, we're off in the weeds, and I want to stop talking so you guys can actually talk to them yourself and get autographs or pictures or the poster or the t-shirt or all that stuff. So I'm just going to say a huge thank you to Netflix. I don't know where Netflix is for letting us do this tonight. A huge thank you to all of you for coming out, and to Jennifer and Tim. Obviously, thank you so much for doing this. Just to let everybody know,
And for Steve.
Oh, stop. I don't need it. The exit to go out is on the top. And they'll be like, just go out the top. And if you want to just get a t-shirt and leave, or if you want to get an autograph or poster, it's all out there. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you outside.
And just remember, if you're an Emmy voter, that our show lives or dies on your vote. So... You know, no pressure.
And by the way, actually being serious, another thing is if you are on social media and you enjoy Love, Death, and Robots, please spread the word.
And the last thing, Arcane doesn't need your help.
See everyone outside.